You guys know what time it is. It's Dana White Contender Series time, and we've got the flyweights in this matchup. Here it is, week 7 already. This thing is going by way too fast for me. Wish we had a couple more weeks extra. I'm looking for 12, 13, 14 weeks of this, but here we are at 7 out of 10, and we're going to break it down, all right? We have Jhonata Silva. He is taking on Igor da Silva Severino. I know they don't have Severino on Tapology, but Severino seems to be his last name. Kind of like one of those Da Silvas where it's like everybody's named Da Silva, maybe. I don't know. Either way, it's similar to like Daniel Da Silva, who became Daniel Lacerda in the UFC, and all of a sudden you're like, what the heck happened? Pretty soon that's what's going to happen with Igor here. He's going to be Severino. Anyway, we're going to break this fight down. It's going to be a good time. Both guys are 5-0 in their last 5. Silva does have that lone loss, whereas Severino doesn't have any losses. He's undefeated at 7-0 on the career. Something I want to point out before we get into anything else, Silva's small for flyweight. He weighs in under 120 pounds in pretty much every fight. So if you're weighing in under 120 pounds at flyweight, you're obviously not cutting weight. He's just a little guy, all right? He's small, and that kind of does hinder him in the grappling. It's like a lot of people said he had good takedown defense, and I put that it was average because the reason why is, yeah, he's got the skill to do it, but he gets taken down because he's just too small, and these guys are able to outmuscle him and get the takedowns. But he does work back to his feet really quickly. So I wanted to point that out before we got into anything else. His size being so much smaller than a lot of his opponents is a big hindrance for him. And if there was a men's strawweight division, that would be where he'd be competing, considering he's like 119 without cutting weight, obviously. So if he could find that division, that'd be great. Obviously, there isn't really any in the United States. He'd have to go somewhere else. Or really anywhere outside of Asia. So he'd have to go over there somewhere. But either way, let's break down his striking. He does have pretty good striking. He's very fast with his strikes. He's got nice, clean, straight punches. The head kick is there, and that head kick is very damaging. He's got pretty good power for a guy that is his size. The problem is he doesn't have that one-shot power, but he can wobble you, get you on the baby deer legs, get you all shaky or whatever, and land some pretty good shots. He's a good fighter overall. Gaps in his fight history, so he's got some time off here and there, but overall, he's a pretty darn good fighter. I do like him at flyweight, or I do like him at a strawweight rather than flyweight. But what do? He's trying to get in the UFC, and they don't have a strawweight men's division. On the other side, for Severino, this dude, good striking as well. Probably not quite as polished as Silva, but it's still pretty good. He gets a little wild at times. Some of his strikes are just as polished, but he also gets a little bit wild when he gets a little excited and swings wild. It happens. It's whatever. He does have pretty good power, and he's going to come forward with it. Similar to Silva, where he doesn't have that one shot, put your lights out power, but he has that knockdown power. He's going to be able to get you on the wobbly legs or drop you. Just same idea. I mean, it's flyweight. Not a lot of guys have just one shot dead power. Some do, not many. He does counter leg kicks really well with a big heavy cross. He'll do that thing where he kind of catches it a little and just boom, drops that heavy shot. He counters in general pretty well, but that leg kick counter is one of the ways he drops a lot of his opponents. When it comes to the grappling, I think he's got an edge here because he does have very slick Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I've seen a lot of people not give him enough credit for that. When he gets on top, he's got good pressure, and I think a lot of people aren't considering it Jiu-Jitsu because he uses ground and pound so well, but he's got good top pressure, and he's going to seek the finish, whether it be a submission or ground and pound. When he's using that ground and pound, he's trying to finish the fight. It's not just setting up submissions. Some guys use that ground and pound to set up submissions. He's looking to take your head off, and then eventually you give him the submission anyway, which is what he's going to take. So if you give him the submission, that is. Otherwise, he'll gladly just pound you out. No big deal. He also has very good submission defense. The way I know this, though, is he ends up in a lot of really bad spots, and I think it's because he gets really excited about landing that big, heavy shot. But he's very calm, remains calm, fights the hold, just gets out and does a good job with it. He's very, very safe in his ability to fight off submissions, if that makes sense. And he also can transition in his submission attempts very well. Goes from the arm bar to transition to a triangle to rotating to take the back, whatever he's got to do. The guy has very good transitions between subs and will chain them together very well. For me, I think this is a close fight, a good fight, but I have to take Severino here for the fact that A, he's going to be bigger, and B, I think he's got a better skill set on the mat. On the feet, it's pretty close, and it could go either way in the striking, but I think if it does hit the mat, Severino's got a little bit of an advantage there, and he's also going to be the bigger guy, so he'll have the option to get that takedown. So for me, Severino is the pick. I'd like to hear from you. Let me know in the comments and like this video on the way out. I appreciate it. See you next one.